Today on the Rockbridge Report, one of President Trump's cabinet picks is in jeopardy of not getting confirmed. We'll have the Senate count.
Some rundown buildings in Buena Vista could get a facelift soon. We'll show you what's standing in the way.
It's warm and sunny today, but we might see a drop in temperatures this weekend. Find out more in your weekly weather forecast.
A Supreme Court justice speaks to VMI and Washington and Lee students. We'll tell you what she didn't say.
All that and more next on the Rockbridge Report.
Campus of Washington and Lee University with news for Rockbridge County. This is the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Bryn McCarthy.
And I'm Kinsey Grant. Two Republican senators have announced that they will vote against Secretary of Education nominee Betsy DeVos, putting her nomination on thin ice. Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski and Maine Senator Susan Collins have withdrawn their support for DeVos amid criticism from Democrats and teachers' unions. Democrats are continuing to put up big fights over other nominees, and Republicans are starting to fight back. Diane Gallagher joins us now from Washington with the latest.
We'll recess until further notice.
Tensions on Capitol Hill are boiling over as Senate Republicans Wednesday made an extraordinary move to push forward on two of President Trump's nominees without their Democratic colleagues present. For the second day in a row, Democrats decided not to show up, putting Treasury nominee Steve Mnuchin and Health and Human Services nominee Tom Price on hold. Finance Chairman Senator Orrin Hatch suspended the rules that require at least one Democrat to be present to vote.
We took some unprecedented actions today due to the unprecedented obstruction on the part of our colleagues.
Democrats have voiced concerns over Price and Mnuchin, arguing that they both made misrepresentations in their testimonies before the Senate.
I think that we have a right to vet these nominees. We should know what's in their records.
Down the hall at the Judiciary Committee hearing, it was more of the same.
He personally went after me. He personally impugned my integrity. You didn't object then, did you?
Senator Al Franken taking issue with comments made by his colleague Ted Cruz. But despite an effort to slow down Trump's pick for Attorney General,
the nomination is approved by the committee.
Jeff Sessions will now face a full Senate vote.
Well, welcome, everyone.
Wednesday's drama could be just a prelude to the showdown over Trump's pick for the Supreme Court, Neil Gorsuch. Republicans need 60 votes, but could invoke a voting rule known as the nuclear option, shifting to a simple majority. It's a move that has the president's support.
I would say, if you can, Mitch, go nuclear.
In Washington, I'm Diane Gallagher.
President Trump announced his nominee for the Supreme Court on Tuesday and set off the latest battle between Democrats and the White House. Karen Kaifa reports from Washington, where nominee Neil Gorsuch visited Capitol Hill Wednesday morning.
Mr. President, I am honored and I am humbled.
President Trump introduced Neil Gorsuch as his Supreme Court nominee Tuesday night, and Wednesday morning it was down to business. Gorsuch, accompanied by Vice President Mike Pence, visited with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who will work to move his nomination through the chamber. But some Democrats, even in the minority, won't make it easy.
I do believe that he may be coming to the court with an agenda that's out of the mainstream.
Still seething over McConnell's block of Barack Obama's court nominee Merrick Garland, Democrats' relationship with the GOP has been further strained by moves to repeal Obamacare and Trump's executive orders on immigration and refugees. In the event of a filibuster, Republicans may look for red state Democrats to reach a 60-vote threshold, particularly those up for re-election in 2018, like Joe Manchin of West Virginia, who urged against an eye for an eye tactic.
If you want the third branch of government to work, then you've got to have a 9-member Supreme Court. So if the Republicans did something and now the Democrats are going to do something, two wrongs don't make a right.
Senate Republicans hope Democrats will put past politics aside during the current process.
We are where we are. We've got to move forward. We've got to find a way, and I hope the Democrats will join us.
They'd like to see Gorsuch confirmed by early April to take part in the final cases of the term. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
A controversial bill in Richmond on municipal broadband networks heads to a vote today in committee. Delegate Kathy Byron said her bill should bring greater transparency to publicly funded broadband projects. Network officials say the bill could cause organizations like the Rockbridge Area Network Authority's prices to increase in order to match those of private telecommunication companies. Buena Vista is trying to give its business district a new look. But some city officials worry that the buildings need more than a facelift. Faith Isbell reports in Buena Vista.
Slap fresh paint on a building that's falling apart.
Buena Vista has a program that encourages business owners to fix up their building's facades. They can receive up to $7,500 in reimbursement if approved.
We want to spruce up the downtown, and we want to help businesses, and frequently these costs of sprucing up are a hardship.
Every time a building is improved upon, that's a catalyst to others surrounding it to, look better.
Last December, property owner Nelson Schwartz filed 6 applications for funding to update the fronts of his buildings on Magnolia and Forest Avenues. But city officials worry about the dilapidated condition of the buildings.
We would hate to spend $7,500 on a building that we then need to demolish because it's derelict. It just doesn't make sense.
4 of the applications are pending. The city is waiting on an update from Schwartz's contractors about the conditions of the buildings. But the council is hopeful that Schwartz will make the necessary improvements.
To try to have the property owner make improvements to the buildings to make them usable again and more attractive is probably worthwhile.
The program has already helped several other business owners.
It has definitely made a difference, and people notice.
Dyer received funding to update the front of her building on Magnolia Avenue.
People who grew up here in Buena Vista or who live here take great pride in the city. I remember what it was, but now I see what it can be. There's such potential here.
The council will hear from Schwartz's contractors this evening before making a final decision. I'm Faith Isbell with the Rockbridge Report.
The city's building inspector, Fred Fix, will join the council to tour the buildings this evening.
The Lexington and Rockbridge Area Tourism Department says 2017 will be a big year for outdoor recreation. In 2016, the Tourism Department received grants to launch 2 outdoor recreation campaigns, Get Outside and Braiding the Way for Outdoor Recreation in the Rockbridge area. Both projects use the area's abundance of trails, bikeways, and waterways to attract visitors to the area, especially millennials. Tourism Director Gene Clark said outdoor recreation will only become more prominent as part of what attracts visitors to our area.
Coming up after the break, it looks fun, but we'll also tell you what a new after-school program at Maury River could mean for your child.
A Supreme Court justice spoke at VMI yesterday, but not about Trump's nominee. We'll tell you what she had to say. And forget technology. We'll let a small furry animal tell us if we're going to have an early spring.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary.
Hi, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Way. He doesn't even know that we're here. Is he okay? Please tell me he's okay.
Laura.
Okay, try to call him again.
There's no signal.
Try.
Nothing's working.
Well, just
Everything's down.
This is so bad. He's out there by himself.
Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov.
Punxsutawney Phil, the nation's most famous groundhog, saw his shadow this morning and predicted 6 more weeks of winter. Thousands of people gathered in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania overnight, awaiting the prediction in the form of a short poem. Records dating back to 1887 show Phil has now predicted 6 more weeks of winter 103 times, while forecasting an early spring only 18 times. All right, Catherine, we have to know, do you agree with Phil, 6 more weeks of winter?
You know, Kenzie, I don't believe it. Based on the weather that we're seeing this next couple weeks, then we're probably going to see some warmer weather. Today's high was 48 degrees and the low was 26. We're reading 30.09 inches of mercury on the barometer and 15-mile-per-hour wind speeds with 26% humidity. So let's take a look at the area weather. In Stanton, we're seeing 49 degrees with partially sunny clouds. Charlottesville with 54 degrees. Buena Vista and Lexington at 48. Covington with a chilly 36 and sunny, and Roanoke with 53 and sunny. Let's take a look at the radar screen. Looks like we might get a little bit of rain this weekend based on this radar. So let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. Friday, we have a high of 41 and a low of 18, so it's going to get a little chilly. Saturday, we have a high of 41 and a low of 25 and nice sunny skies. Sunday, we might see a little snow or maybe some rain on Sunday with a high of 43 and a low of 32. Monday, we have a high of 51 and a low of 35 with sunny skies again. And then on Tuesday, we're going to see a little bit more rain with a high of 52 and a low of 43. So that's your 5-day forecast. Kinsey and Bryn, back to you.
U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg shared some of the backstory to a controversial decision several years ago that cleared the way for the admission of women to the Virginia Military Institute. Ginsburg spoke to a packed arena at VMI on Wednesday. Maggie Siebold reports from Cameron Hall.
Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg wrote the majority opinion of the Supreme Court case that struck down VMI's male-only admission policy in 1996.
Government can't prefer men or can't prefer women for an opportunity, that all doors must be open to our sons and daughters.
It's an absolute incredible experience to meet Justice Ruth Ginsburg. I personally would not be here today if it wasn't for her.
There are women who are ready, willing, and able to undergo the tough training at VMI, and they want that opportunity. The state of Virginia can't deny it to them.
20 years after the court case, VMI's student body is 11% women, 89% men. Justice Ginsburg was one of 9 women out of her class of 500 at Harvard.
You felt you were constantly on display. So if you were called on in class, you felt that if you failed, if you didn't perform well, you were failing. You felt you were constantly on display. So if you were called on in class, you felt that if you failed, if you didn't perform well, you were failing not just for yourself, but for all women. It also had the uncomfortable feeling that you were being watched throughout the classes. Wait and see. You will be proud of the women who become graduates of VMI.
There's people, and in particular women at VMI, that have been very tough, and you could put that tougher than some of the guys that are here too.
Ginsburg was wearing a pin that a graduate had given to her. Normally these pins are given to the mothers of graduates, but after this man's mother passed away, he gave his pin to Ginsburg. With the Rockbridge Report, I'm Maggie Siebold.
Ginsburg was interviewed by 2 women who have written biographies about her. She shared details about her life and the VMI court case. She did not touch on current events or President Trump's nominee to the Supreme Court. Some people wish she had.
Coming up, one of the Rockbridge Report's own reporters broke an athletic record.
And keeping up with kids after school.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your GED.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future and sign up for free classes now at yourged.org.
If you store your guns properly,
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
I won't have to tell so many family members. I'm sorry.
I won't hear as many scary stories.
And I won't have to tell my kids. This isn't a drill.
Please.
Please, do it for us.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always, lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
No more pencils, no more books, no more teachers, dirty looks.
School's out for summer.
What this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools like Henry Ford High, and now they're up 18%.
To help us do more good this year, go to unitedway.org, because great things happen when we live united.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
Well, the Super Bowl is coming up this Sunday, Emma, but there's plenty of high school action too.
That's right, Bryn. The Super Bowl pits two most valuable player candidates against each other as Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons take on Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. The MVP and other awards will be presented the night before the big game. The game itself will air this Sunday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. In high school sports, the Rockbridge County High School women's basketball team dropped 2 games this week, including a 16-point loss yesterday to Riverheads. The men's team lost to William Fleming High School Tuesday night, 63-50. The Wildcats will host Turner Ashby tonight at 7 p.m. And from BV, the Perry McClure High girls team was dominant yesterday as they routed Highland by a final score of 77-20. The VMI Cadets men's basketball team has a home matchup tonight against East Tennessee State University. They're coming off a 2-point loss Saturday to Samford. They are in the midst of a 6-game homestand. The Washington and Lee women's basketball squad won a tight one Tuesday night as Emily Persek, a junior, had a historic night. The team defeated Randolph-Macon 74-68, and Persek dropped a career-high 37 points. Her scoring outburst tied for the second most points scored in a single game in program history. The W&L men's basketball team dropped a conference game against conference foe Shenandoah. Junior Clayton Murtha led with the Generals 23 points and 10 rebounds in a 74-68 loss. In Division I, the Virginia Tech Hokies traveled to Charlottesville to take on the 9th-ranked Virginia Cavaliers last night. UVA junior Devin Hall highlighted a 71-48 thrashing of the Hokies with 17 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists. And the Rockbridge Report's very own sophomore Maggie Siebold broke a school record over the weekend. Her time of 2 minutes, 17.26 seconds was Washington and Lee's best ever 800-meter time on an indoor track. Back to you.
Maury River Middle School recently got a $600,000 grant from the Virginia Board of Education for a 3-year after-school program. Caroline Blackman shows us how it compares to Central Elementary's.
Unicycling, music, and arts and crafts make up Central Elementary's after-school program. It got underway in January and showcases the talents of the kids and teachers.
We wanted our students to see that our teachers had other talents besides just academics. Kids come on Monday and Wednesdays for this activity. They have a snack and an exercise portion from about 3 to 3:15, just a few minutes to get some of their wiggles out.
Then, 200 students go to 19 different programs for an hour.
The main purpose was really to build connections. I think when you build a connection with a student, they try harder for you and they want to do better for you.
PE and unicycle teacher Stuart Brown says the only way the kids learn is by getting back on the unicycle every time they fall.
You know, they start out not knowing even what a unicycle is to being able to ride. You know, some kids pick it up in 3 sessions and some take many weeks to pick it up.
Maury River Middle School also tries to inspire students to connect academics to interests outside the classroom. The Virginia Board of Education funds the after-school program through its 21st Century Learning Centered grants.
The purpose is to provide academic instruction along with different activities, workshops.
School officials hope the after-school activities help students improve their reading and math lessons. Those are two areas where students received the lowest scores in state tests. But Brown says it's not all about academics.
With the way the 21st Century Grant is designed, it's to make the student an all-around student.
Central Elementary's 6-week program will end in mid-February. Maury River's program lasts until the end of May. For the Rockbridge Report, this is Caroline Blackman.
That's all for today's edition of the Rockbridge Report. Thanks for joining us.